Hey, everybody, and welcome to Voices of Recovery. Today's guest is Caitlyn Keppinger, and I'm your host, Gregory Greer. Today's guest, everybody, is Caitlyn Keppinger. She is known by many and seen by even many more. I guess you would call the job title marketer? Marketer for Lincoln Nova Vital Recovery. And I may have gotten that wrong. If I did, Caitlyn, please.
You got it.
Yeah. So, Caitlyn, welcome to today's podcast.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
And since we're in the medical or health field, I'll say the health field, how in the health are you?
I worked out for the third time in my life.
I thought you were going to say today.
Ever.
Like
today.
Today,
the third time ever in my life. So I'm feeling like super healthy. I'm on a kick.
Ever in your life. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Right on. So I'm stoked that you're here. Thank you for being on here. So this whole process is about unifying what I call the professional recovery community and those that we serve. So we'll have people on as well to share their experience, their strength, and their hope. And so your experience, your strength, and your hope, what brings you here, what do you do? And oh my God, how did you get where you are? Before you answer all that kind of question, you worked out for the third time in your life.
Yeah.
So not an avid buff.
No.
Slow. I mean, you look buff.
I'm not. But yeah, I figured I want to start feeling better, and I'm getting close to 40. So I'd like to live long enough to see my kids have kids and stuff. Just some more fear, but it's, it motivated me.
Okay,
so
you're a mom.
I'm a mom. Yeah, I have two boys.
Two boys. How old are they?
4 and 10.
Egads.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, 10, they say, is one of the more sensitive times in a little boy's life. And then 4, those little personalities have just blossomed.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll talk about the 4 and 10-year-old.
They're amazing. They're amazing kids, but they're just like me. They're just a lot in the best ways possible.
Well, that sounds like a workout in itself.
It is. That's how I've stayed in shape for now,
So keeping in shape. What is your job title? What do you do?
I am a marketer for Lincoln Nova Vital Recovery. So my job is to kind of be out in the community, out at hospitals, out telling people about our services and kind of being that person that is in between with the referral sources or the people and our facility. So I'm out there getting referrals basically and spreading awareness, not only about our services, but about addiction in general. And I do my best to, try to break the stigma a little bit, as much as I can.
How long have you been doing that?
For Lincoln Nova, I've been doing it about 7 months now. And before that, I was working for 2 other places in the same field, doing marketing for them as well. So a few years now. Yeah.
What do you like about it?
I wanted to always, I'm in recovery. I'll have 7 years next month. But
congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you. I never thought I want to be a counselor and talk to people about their feelings. You know what I mean? But I wanted to be, in it. You know what I mean? But that's
you want to be a part of it.
A part of it, but that's too much. But I love being out there, pulling people off the streets if I have to.
Okay.
And being a person can be contacted 24/7 when people need help. I want people to think of me. And if I can't get them help with us, I'll get them wherever.
So is that one of your roles? Are you one of the individuals that would help bring somebody to Lincoln Nova if they needed help?
I have before. Typically we set up transportation, safety and all that, but I've done it. I've brought people to treatment now for years and years. I'll do whatever I have to, basically.
All right. You're a person who likes to help.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, does that make you, what do they call that, a rescuer,
Probably,
caretaker, something of that nature?
I have a few of those characteristics.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, so many people that go in, I don't want to be a counselor, you said, but we go into this field to either help others or help ourselves, but by helping others, we do help ourselves.
Right.
And having the passion to want to help somebody, knowing it because you're in recovery 7 years, you've been there, done that, got that T-shirt.
Right. Yeah. It's easier for people to listen and relate to somebody that's been through it. And I know a lot of times I'll get people on the phone or their families will call me and they're like, you wouldn't understand, and I'm like, wait, let me tell you, and I kind of qualify myself. And they're like, oh, you were really out there. Like, yeah, I was. And like, I can tell you what worked for me, Are
you comfortable sharing where you were in your addiction?
Oh, yeah, of course. In what way?
Well, so how did we get where we are? Because,
Right.
I went to school and did all my stuff, but my first pursuit in college was radio, TV, film. And so, wow, here we are doing this, kind of, I guess, maybe incorporate a little bit of it. But I ended up becoming a counselor because I went to treatment a bunch of times.
Right.
And so, how did you get where you are based on your life experience?
I guess I would say at like 15, I started drinking and using drugs, and it was a lot different than I guess it was for my friends. Like it became my identity immediately. And I just became really bad off. And I went from like straight A's to like, I can't graduate high school. I can't get out of the bed without opiates. It just went really quickly, and I started going to treatment at 19, I believe. And I was in and out of treatment, in and out of jail, all the things.
Have you counted how many times you've been to treatment?
27.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Man, you go.
I think I've completed like 11 maybe. But yeah, 27 total. I did the whole South Florida run around. I did the
circuit.
All of it.
I did that.
Yeah. I tried it all, but I never really tried it till this last time. You know what I mean? So basically I just, my family kind of stopped enabling me. And I was a really bad mom to my oldest son. And I just finally hit a low where I went to treatment and I didn't really have any other options but to work the steps. For me, that I did AA. And I'd love to say I did it perfectly and totally honest and thoroughly. Like people say, you have to or you'll die. Like I did my best-ish. And then I just keep trying to do better. And I've stayed sober doing that, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. Because when you speak to a family that's trying to help their loved one get into treatment and you're saying, well, wait a minute, I've been there. I guess, how do you connect with them with your own experience?
I literally told somebody this morning, a woman worried about getting a family member into treatment, one of her children. And I said, the thing is, it's like, she was telling me how he was like, in her house and she just fed him. And I was like, you don't understand. Like, I hate to say this and I know this is going to be hard, but until I didn't have a place to go or anybody to feed me, I had no reason to get better. Why would I? If I knew I could just go keep getting high and I'd have a place to lay my head at night and food to eat when I was ready to finally eat and sleep, why would I have gotten sober? You know what I mean? So I think it's really hard for some people to get there, even as people that aren't using, as the family members, you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I get on that level and explain that. I'm not just telling people like, throw your family members aside, but like, you can't help somebody that doesn't want it. And you can't just keep feeding and housing somebody that's using, or they're just not going to get better. I would have never gotten better.
Well, you did. And then where do you find the motivation next to keep going?
As soon as I was sober for like a month, I saw things so differently. And I was working the steps with a sponsor. I was just like, how could I have like abandoned my child? Like, how could I have done these things and acted these ways? Like, there were times that first year where I guess I had thoughts of using. Nothing crazy. Life was just so much better. Even at first, when I didn't have any hope about seeing my child again, I guess I'd gotten so miserable there at the end. There was really no relief left. It was stopping physical sickness at the end of my addiction. I guess I was just so relieved to not feel that way anymore. And now that I've like worked the steps and gotten all these things back in my life, like my child, and I have another little boy now, and I have this wonderful job and I have these amazing friends. That's my motivation, and I have this job where like I get to do what I love every day, like, which is helping people like me, so it's really motivating.
That's an amazing gift. It is a gift. Call it life. Then what's the biggest challenge you believe or feel?
In sobriety and life in general?
Whatever comes to you.
Probably negativity, getting in fear, and I feel like from what I've learned and like seen in the rooms and in working my job, it's like I know if I let the negativity and fear of everything overtake me too much, I know where I'll end up. So I have to kind of like always keep a check on that. And I can easily get negative. I can easily look at every happy, positive thing as like, it's really honestly easier for me to look at it negatively. That's just how my brain works. Like, I think that may be like what makes me an alcoholic. I've been like that since a kid.
So when you say negatively and someone says, wow, just like, I got a new car. Look at this car, man. That's so awesome. Yeah, but like one of the tires has a scratch on it. Is it the kind of negative you're talking about?
My negativity would be more like, what did they do to deserve this? Like, you know what I mean? Like just super judgy of others and like, why not me kind of thing, like the pity. I can get into that really quickly. And I found that like, the more I like tell myself, say out loud and pray like that I'm happy for people and I'm happy for myself and they deserve good things and I deserve good things. Like, and I do the next right thing, like I can just stay on that positive track, but I slip up a lot.
That's okay. Look, everything to me is all about relationships. The presentations I give are always about relationships and how do we connect, because connecting is so difficult, because in our addiction, the only connection we did was with the drug of choice or alcohol. Same. And that, I think the way I look at it, so in a 12-step program, and I do others like harm reduction, SMART, 12-step, Alcoholics Anonymous, and Alcoholics Anonymous in the big book, page 152, not that I'm a big book thumper, but it talks about, I think, alcoholics will know loneliness such as few do, and they'll come to the jumping off place. And what I realized, I guess, from my own journey and then from working with others, the inability to have relationships, because the only relationship for some period of time has been with the drug of choice. And so being able to connect with somebody is foreign. And I didn't know how to connect, because basically where I learned how to connect was where? When I was a kid.
Right.
And so not that mom or dad did a terrible thing, but somehow not my parents' fault, but I interpreted how to have relationships. And I took that ball rolling and I went negative or overcompensating, and I took it to another degree, and it didn't help me. And so what language did I learn growing up that didn't help me? So I look at that I wasn't able to identify how to have healthy relationships. And so then I become disconnected. So it's 7 years sober, which is an amazing journey. And your children working, connecting with others. The challenge is fear. And I think in Alcoholics Anonymous, they talk about 100 forms of fear. Mm-hmm. So that's the big dilemma. That's the big dilemma. What gives you the most hope?
My kids, obviously. The fact that if I just look, if I sometimes think like 5, 6, 7 years ago, if like somebody were to tell me this is what your life is going to look like at 7 years sober, not that I have like this big, like elaborate, whatever life, but like I have like, I'm at peace and I'm like, content, and I have freedom in my children. So I always think about that a lot. I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? This is truly better than I ever could imagine. And not because of like things and cars and whatever, like that's still a mess sometimes in my life, but like just the peace I have and the freedom. And then I found it, especially if you would have told me I would have been like single and doing all this. I'm not single now, I have a boyfriend, but like I was for a long time. And like I found all that inner happiness within and with God and my children, if that makes sense.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I got to take this like long break from relationships and get happy with myself. And I would not have believed that because I was such a codependent person, that needed somebody else to make me happy. So that gives me hope, just that change that I never would have thought would be possible.
Well, two things you said. One was happiness. I love it because I'm big Facebook fiend. I'll be posting memes like a crazy person.
I love memes.
And I saw this where this person had a jar of happiness, and the other cartoon character goes, "Wow, where did you find that?" And they go, "Oh, I made this myself."
I love that.
And that's what I heard you said. Mm-hmm. I made that myself because I found it. And then you talked about codependence, which, that's one of my favorite topics from Soul Drama. And in this journey, and you may remember some of the things that I brought up, the definition of codependence, and it's by Connie Miller. Connie Miller, for anybody who doesn't know, founded Soul Drama. Her definition is an absence of a relationship with self. And so the individual seeks anything and everything outside of themselves to help them feel better about them. So it could be a relationship. It could be money. As soon as I have enough money, oh gosh, then I'll be loved. If I'm popular, then I'll be loved. And that's all the messages that we define from our childhood, from one of our parents, and seeking their approval, which is always, I'm not good enough, fear of rejection, or fear of abandonment, which is fear of rejection.
Big one.
And so the codependent, you identified that, saying you were a codependent person. Can you talk about Soul Drama? Are you okay with that? Like, did you learn anything from it?
I did.
Did you get anything out of it?
I was so glad I went to Soul Drama. I was on like an AA break. I don't know if that's very healthy or not, but I was at the time. And I went to Soul Drama and I needed it so badly. It was one of the best experiences, I think, of my life. It was intense, and I got to do it with my mom. She wouldn't mind me saying that, but we went in together, and it was just like, I felt like I had 3 years of therapy, in one weekend.
1 weekend,
yeah. And to do it with my mom was really cool. You start to see your family as like, not as real people sometimes with real feelings and going through real things. That's my mom. You take care of me. And I got to see, her be vulnerable and open up. And it was just really cool. Yeah.
So how did I know, not me, Greg, but if I was you, Caitlyn, like if I'm doubling for you, how did I know I was codependent?
Well, as soon as I read the first chapter of what's that book called?
Codependence No More?
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is what it is. Like so many people have told me since I started AA, like, you've got to read this, you've got to read this. I thought I was like this really super selfless person, but like kind of like everything I was doing was honestly for like selfish reasons and to get people to like me. And like, who do I need to be for this person? Well, I got to be somebody else for this person. I had no idea what I liked or cared about. I didn't even know what hobbies or I didn't have any. Like it just depended on who I was with, who I needed to be. And so that when I read all that, I was like, oh yeah, what do I like?
Well, that's a good question. What do you like?
I like photography.
Yes, you do. And you're pretty freaking good.
I'm getting
seen
better.
Some pics. Yeah, you are.
I like photography. I like memes. I mean, I do. I love memes. I love, being with my kids. I love concerts, things like that. I just didn't really even know that before.
Wow. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Since you brought up concerts, is there a favorite?
I just saw Morgan Wallen with my son. He's my son's favorite, like country. And honestly, it was so good. But Taylor Swift, hands down, my favorite.
Have you been?
Oh, twice.
Really?
Yeah. The Eras Tour twice. Yeah. This is my Taylor Swift tattoo. And
check you out. Speaking
of codependency, the song's called Mirror Ball that I got the tattoo. And it's the most codependent song ever. It's like, I'm a mirror ball. I'll show you every version of yourself tonight. So when I heard that, and there's more, I won't go through the whole song, but when I heard that, she's performing, she's on her tippy toes. She talks about like she's showing whoever she's with a version of themselves in her. She's becoming whoever she needs to be, and she's tired. And so I really related to that song, and I don't anymore, but I'm really glad I have the tattoo. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I'm healed, and I go back to that often, but it's just a cool thing to kind of bring it all together.
Oh, I dig it. I mean, I think it's a process.
Yeah.
I think it's a process. I've read healing isn't the end of any particular wound. It's being able to hold it. And I say that from a Buddhist perspective, and someone can always, correct me, because I reserve the right to be wrong. And that's my favorite. Dr. Tommy Estes always, I reserve the right to be wrong. Joy, joy. So, but the comment is that, my ADD just kicked in. So the healing process in a Buddhist perspective is to be able to hold the wound, to be able to hold the trauma is where I'm going with this. So I hold the trauma like I would a child. I mean, I'm not going to be angry and yell at it. I want to love the child. I want to nurture the child. So that's my wound. I wouldn't want to yell at it. I want to love it and I want to nurture it. This way I'm holding the wound or the trauma instead of the trauma holding me. Because all our decisions, and I always tell people, they're like, and you'll say, well, I can't talk about my trauma because theirs is far worse than mine. And it's like, well, you know what? Nobody's trauma is worse.
I've said that so many times.
Well, nobody's trauma is worse or less. And that's a way to avoid looking at our trauma. But every one of us has our trauma. And that trauma is what dictates our decision-making process every day, all day long. So the big two traumas are the fear of abandonment and the fear of not being good enough. So, I mean, there's obviously the traumas with, PTSD, child abuse, or any molestations or others that somebody might experience, but we still have traumas in just day-to-day life experiences with relationships. For somebody who, a heartbreak, so they fall in love, somebody, infidelity, or just drop kicks them to the curb, and that's heartfelt. And from there, they have this perception of all the messages we have. I'm not good enough, fear of abandonment.
Or if one phone call's not answered 10 years later by somebody completely different, it's like, oh, they're cheating on me. For sure. Like, oh, they left me. They don't love me anymore. I relate to that very much,
So being able to heal
big
that.
reactions.
Right. And being able to hold it so I don't have to have the big reactions internally because that's what they call a trauma response, right? Trauma response. And so I get to learn how to hold that so I can, and I like to breathe, my breathwork thing. Just, because when I exhale slowly in such a manner, I can reduce my heart rate. It gives me a chance to allow the fog of fear to dissipate. And then when I have some clarity, it's like, oh, then I can use the prefrontal cortex to actually discern what decision I can make next instead of fight or flight and go any direction at all, like popcorn machine. Pop, 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 pop.
That's me, yeah.
Well, hey, self-awareness is what I believe recovery is all about. The more I know about myself, the more I can work on myself, and the more I know about me, I can help you by sharing my experience, strength, and hope. And so that's what you do when you get to communicate with another family, to share with them what you've learned about yourself to help them get their family member into treatment.
Right.
So you are a blessing.
Oh, well, thank you. So are you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Let's talk about LASAC. Can I change the subject on that?
Go for it.
I was digging where we were going, but looking at our time, I want to think about, because as a marketer, you go to the conferences. I don't know if you have a favorite conference.
LASAC's the big one, you know? I would say LASIK's probably my favorite because I get to see everybody all in one place. You know, it's busy. By the time you leave, you're worn out. But LASIK's my favorite for sure.
How come? I know you were telling me. I'm just trying to push you to go a little further.
I get to see all my favorite, you know, coworkers. Well, I guess people I work with from other facilities, and meet a whole bunch more. Everybody's in the same place in our field. And I love that. And so we get to connect with all these other facilities and see how we can work together, which is always cool. I'm a very social person too. So it's just like my thing. I want to attend more presentations this year for sure.
Good for you.
I do. I'm definitely going to be at yours.
Oh,
excited.
Really?
Oh yeah, of course.
Thank you. I'm doing activation breath work this time.
Oh, no, are we doing it?
There will be a 6 to 8 minute experiential process.
Okay.
Where I'll break out the big Bose L1 Pro 8 speaker.
I don't know what that means.
It's just it's the name of the speaker.
Oh, okay.
But it's incredibly loud. And I had to ask.
A speaker. Okay, sorry.
I had to, right. So I had to bring this in because part of breathwork, since you brought it up, it's a non-pharmaceutical psychedelic experience. And there's different kinds of breath work. The one I became certified originally was a holotropic model designed in the early 70s by Dr. Stanislav Gross and his wife Christine. And his history is riddled with trauma, World War II afterwards. And they would use psychedelics in the 50s and 60s to work on anxiety, depression, PTSD. So when he came into the States, the late 60s, early 70s, psychedelics were banned. So he developed a model that had a lot of research from Africa and South America. You can include Peru with that, of course. And the breath work that they were able to develop, that our body has a synthetic enzyme that does
the same thing?
DMT.
Oh my gosh, not DMT, the only drug I've never done.
Dimethyltryptamine. But see, our body can create it as well, based on all the factors that are put into this.
I'm in.
So what occurs though is, one, you have to do the breath, which I go through a process on how to train everybody, if you will, preface on, preparing. And then the other parts of it is going to be some movement, because some people feel called to move, because some of it's like being at a rave. So if you ever dance, boom, 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 there's some people, hey, if you feel move, go ahead and move. It's good. The other part is physical contact. And physical contact, as a facilitator like myself, might push on your feet, take your knees and move it up. Because when I'm moving your breath through your body, and through your body is going to be like trauma is held at different places. And so they call this, and this is Ocean Eagle's model, we work through the chakras. And so we're going to work through each, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart and the throat, third eye, and the crown. We're going to breathe through all of that. And so there's different pressure points that are placed to help move while you're breathing through it. Then the other part is the loud music, because it helps pace.
What kind of music?
Well, it's a combination of tribal, but when I said a rave, the bass in it is just pouncing, and you won't hear much anything else. Except the other component of this is making noises. And so we ask people to make noise when they exhale. So you'll hear maybe some people yell, scream, crying, wailing. Me, I sing. I try to, whatever the tone of the song, whatever's on, I try to go with it. And the thing is, when you're doing this noise and you're pushing your lower part of your gut out there, when you inhale, you're activating what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, the lower lobes of the lung, and that activates the vagus nerve system. Activating the vagus nerve system actually is conducive to reducing anxiety, and so you can calm down. I mean, there are people who've done this exercise afterwards. Blood pressure through blood work has been demonstrated to be reduced by doing the activation breath work.
Do you do it with the group when you're facilitating?
No, because I'm holding the safety of the container. And so I do physical contact with each person to help them with moving the breath through it. So making that noise though, that noise is part of it. That's such a therapeutic tool with this, because what occurs is you have a eye mask, and so you were talking about the happiness earlier. I got my happiness. You're going to go within. So me with my new venture of the PhD in quantum metaphysics, it's all about Christ consciousness. And Luke 17:21 talks about, behold, the kingdom of God is within. So activation breathwork is allowing yourself to go within to explore your spirituality, because in group psychotherapy, everybody talks and we connect, and hey, this isn't a connecting thing. This is a within connecting thing. So I talk about codependence, the absence of a relationship with yourself. You're going inside.
Probably why I've been scared to do it,
Well, for me, my experience, and I always share it in the lectures, my first experience is I had 2 visual experiences and an awareness because of my own codependence of how come I was attracted to a certain person at that time. What was it? And it was like a light bulb moment. People could have told me, hey, Greg, this is how come. And people tell us that all the time. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. That's wow. But until I recognize it myself and the light bulb moment happens, that's what it did for me. Now, it gave me the awareness of it. It didn't tell me, what to do after that. It's like, here it is. Then you take the action steps to follow through to get the healing from it. It helps me understand how come. The next thing it helped me do was learn how to meditate for longer than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you have popcorn brain action going on, this can allow you to learn, experience sitting still and be able to disconnect from it all and then connect from within and be in a space that's pretty mind-blowing. So, and I guess I got derailed on.
No, that's totally cool.
Breathwork.
I've never been able to meditate. Like, that's the one thing, I've never nailed. I've tried to do, little guided meditations on Spotify, but that sounds cool,
Well,
I'm going to do it.
When the time comes, we can
I'm going to do it.
Rock and roll, and you can tell me.
I've had so many people tell me, Caitlyn, you've got to do it. You've got to do breathwork with Greg. It was the best experience. I'm going to do it again. Everybody wants to go back. I'm like, okay, there's got to be something to it. I feel so good afterwards. I don't know how to describe it, but it was amazing,
Well, I'm grateful to hear the feedback.
Oh, yeah.
The guy who created this modality, he was in Mexico working with vets, and he had 8 Navy SEALs there. And they worked on this as a retreat. And so they did 4 or 5 days of this process. And sometimes you're doing 2 breath works a day. And let me tell you, 1 is pretty exhausting. 2, I'm like, wow, that's some work. But what occurs molecularly, so my father, before he passed, he was a neurosurgeon, he studied some of the benefits of it. And I got his blessing and support further to get the certification with it, because it wasn't just for the mental health. It was also for the physical health.
Yeah, I had no idea.
And him working he was working as a doctor to have services approved for patients with certain insurances, that it was actually listed for discharges like breath work, as far as continued modalities for patients being discharged from either psych facilities, treatment programs from substance use disorders and the like. So it was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. So I was grateful to have his blessing too, from a medical standpoint.
Right. That's cool.
So who knows what more could occur just from being able to calm down, focus, meditate longer, and then maybe get some insights. How did this turn on me?
I don't know.
Is it just because I'm selfish?
I'm in charge now, so I'm interviewing you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is that what happened? That was pretty good. Or
Thank
maybe
you.
I just...
I'm good at this,
Okay. So let's talk about what time we got. Where are we? That's we're well. So we talked about LACE Act. I'm thrilled about. Oh, that's what we got onto going into the into the presentation. So you'll be there. You're gonna go into some attend some more. That's a learning process. And then you're representing Lincoln Nova.
Right. I'll be at our table, willing to talk to anybody who has any questions.
So what would you like to say about Lincoln Nova today? Because I think they're our sponsors.
Yeah.
Yep, Lincoln Nova is a sponsor today. So I want to let Caitlyn share about Lincoln.
Lincoln Nova. So I started working for Lincoln Nova in December. And I knew as soon as I did the interview with Jim and Brooks that I really wanted the job and that they were like great. I could just tell they were great people to work for. Plus, of course, like I called around and asked, people that had worked for them. And it just felt it felt like the people that worked there really cared. Everybody, like, when the administrator knows patient names and is asking, how are they doing today? I don't know. I just got this really good feel. And I took the job and I loved it. So Lincoln Nova, we have an inpatient facility in Ruston, 95 beds, and inpatient substance abuse and co-occurring. We have private rooms, which is something that
all the rooms are private rooms?
Yeah, when you get out of detox, for sure you have your own room. So that's pretty cool. That works well for a lot of people. Like we said earlier, trauma and different things like that. You have your privacy. And yeah, we have private rooms. So 28 days, medical detox and inpatient substance abuse treatment. Our program is really awesome. Morgan.
That's a brilliant guy, by the way.
He's genius.
Yeah, Morgan, you're out there. You're a pretty brilliant cat.
He wrote a whole book. I don't know if you've seen it. Working on a
second. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And so it covers everything. I don't even know how to describe it, but they use that to take our clients through, their program, and they finish the book while they're there. Maybe some of it they do when they get to IOP afterwards, but they have fear groups, trauma groups, art therapy on top of just, the regular group therapy and individuals therapy is needed there. And it's very hands-on. And I wish I would have been able to go to treatment there. I never made it to Lincoln Nova, but everywhere else. It's just like, you can just feel when you're in the doors. It's a really good place. And so that means a lot to me. And I see a lot of success. We have IOPs, which is intensive outpatient programs. We have one in Monroe and one in Shreveport now.
Wow.
Yeah. So when they're done with us, they're not done with us. We'd like them to be in an IOP. If it's not ours, another one associated with the sober living, we make sure they are set up when they leave. But what's different about our IOP is that we realize that there's a lot of barriers for people in early recovery as far as you get out of treatment. If you were like me, you didn't have $1, you didn't have a car, you didn't know where your driver's license was or your birth certificate. You're a felon. These are things for me. I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? We try to remove as many barriers as possible. So people can focus, our clients can focus on their recovery as far as transportation.
Yeah.
To and from not only IOP, to and from work, to and from important appointments, and they even to and from the gym because we get them a gym membership for the first month. We're very hands-on. We want to help them get food stamps. We want to help them get their driver's license. It's like we take away all those barriers. Also can turn into excuses. It's like, no. There's no excuses here.
Because we're here to do that with you.
We're here to do it with you. We're all in. So we've seen a lot of success with our IOP. Our Monroe IOP is huge.
So let's, I'd like you to share if somebody was interested to get in touch with either you or obviously, Lincoln Nova.
Yeah.
Who would you?
You can call Lincoln Nova. Our main line is 318-251-4659. For anything, that's IOP, inpatient, anything you call, they'll get you to the right person. If you need me, call them and ask for Caitlyn, and we'll help you wherever you need. We're also opening up a 95-bed facility in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Same exact model, same exact private rooms, same exact, treatment in Natchitoches hopefully by the end of the year.
And they'll get to see the lights.
Yeah.
Because anyone in Louisiana knows Natchitoches has the lights.
That's great. That would be really great for the clients around Christmas and stuff. Yeah. We're doing it.
That'd be a good marketing point. I would just say, hey man, you want to wait till December? I don't know if you want to wait, but if you got to, it's a good time to come in.
And people that are like, I don't want to come for the holidays, oh no, this is the perfect place to go for the holidays. We'll take you to see the lights. That was always an excuse. So this holiday, it's, Valentine's Day, I can't go to treatment. Any holiday. But Christmas is a good one.
So, Caitlyn, thank you. You have been an entertaining joy.
Thank you.
This episode. You shared a lot about yourself, motivating equally, and I'll use the word inspiring. So for those that are seeking, 1, recovery, and 2, to get into the field of recovery, you don't have to be a counselor. You can be a marketer. And there's so many different roles.
Peer support. There's so much now.
Right. So there's so many places, so many roles that one can fill to help, to be a part of. And that's what this is. I mean, the whole purpose of this is to help the professional recovery community work together and not compete. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So next week, I just want to let everybody know, or the next episode, I shall say, we're going to have world famous Lauren Beck. If you haven't heard the Beckster, we will have the Beckster. Yeah. Well, if you know him, that's what he sounds like. I do impressions, so y'all can see if I did it well enough. Thank you for being with us today. For Voices of Recovery, I'm Gregory Greer. Namaste.